What's up guys, my name's Brandon and the iOS 13.5 jailbreak was just recently released over the past month, and I wanted to share with you guys more than 30 awesome Cydia tweaks compatible with this new uncovered jailbreak. So this of course has been a very highly requested video, and I did just make a video showing you guys more than 37 amazing iOS 13 tweaks a couple months back, and if you didn't see that I will link that in the cards and down in the description below. But ever since the iOS 13.5 jailbreak came out, a lot more tweaks have been released, and I think you guys will just enjoy this nice selection of tweaks I have for you in this video. So as always, the complete list of tweaks will be listed down in the description below, and I'm also going to have timestamps on the video for easily jumping around to each individual tweak if you want to. So most of these tweaks are free, but there are some paid ones as well, and all that information and the theme, everything you need to know will be down in the description below. So anyways, let's not waste any more time. Let's go ahead and jump right into these tweaks. The first tweak is called Snell, and this gives pop-ups a more modern, clean look compared to stock iOS. So for example, if I just go into airplane mode and out of it, you can see I get this alert right here, the no SIM card alert, and take a look at the background and just how clean this looks compared to stock iOS. And you can customize pretty much everything with this tweak, but just instantly you can tell a nice big difference. So if we go into these settings here, you can see here you can customize the alert. You have a lot of different options you can change to make it really just like you want it to, or you have presets here. So if you want a preset, you can tap on one of these and it will just give you one of the presets. Me personally, I don't like any of the presets. They look kind of tacky. I like a more clean look, so I just customized my own with a prominent blur, and it kind of just changed around these things right here. So I think it's really cool. I think the alerts look really awesome, and this is very similar to the old tweak Palert, and I think it's a great tweak for iOS 13.5 since Palert has not been updated. And speaking of adding a modern, clean look to your iPhone, the next tweak is called Dayn, and this gives you some really awesome, very modern looking notification banners. So I'm gonna send myself a text message here and take a look at the notification banner up top. Take a look at how clean this looks. It does not look like iOS, but at the same time, it doesn't look, like tacky or anything like another operating system. So I really like the way this looks. And of course it does work with all notifications, and you can customize that as well. As you can see there, we got the icon, the name, and of course the text there. But if we go into our settings, you have all these different options you can choose right here. You can also make it a tiny banner if you want to. You can change the text font size, you can change the font settings, you can change the overall appearance, the radius, the icon size, 24-hour clock. You could change pretty much everything. I mean, you have haptic feedback here, send read receipts, on reply, or you can turn that off if you want to. You have a test banner here to send yourself, to check it out without having to actually send yourself a text message or anything. I think this is a really, really great tweak. Next up is PercentNotify, and this is a very simple tweak that will notify you when the battery on your AirPods or your AirPods case is low. Now this does also work for the iPhone, but I only use this for the AirPods. So you can see right here we have AirPods. If you tap on that, you have the options here for changing the alerts for the AirPods. You can either have it as an alert or a push notification, and you could set the low battery alert, like the percentage of battery it has to be to trigger the alert. So for example, if the left or right AirPod gets below 10%, I will have an alert for that. And if the AirPod case gets below 20%, I will get a notification for that. So this is extremely useful because I've had many times where my AirPods will just die, the case especially will just die without me really knowing because I'm not paying attention to it. But this will probably prevent that, or at least, let you know that the battery is getting low. The next tweak is called PowerSettings. If we go to the top of my settings right here, you'll see this new section right here called Power Options. If you tap on that, you can see we get all these options straight from the top of settings. So we have restart springboard, so you can respring from there. You can enter safe mode, you can reload the daemons and reboot the user space. You can refresh the icon cache, you can reboot, or you can shut down device, all from the very top of settings. This is extremely convenient, especially for respringing, because you guys know in jailbreaking you probably have to respring randomly quite a few times, and it's very useful to have it just at the top of the settings right here at all times and be able to easily respring, and also to refresh the icon cache very easily. And while we're up here, I may as well mention the next tweak, which is settings widgets. So as you can see, I have these two widgets right here at the top of settings that shows my battery capacity and also my storage space that I currently have available. And that is again from the tweak called settings widgets. If you go down to the settings for this, you can change it around a little bit, not too much. But you can see right here, all we have is 3 different options for each sections. So widget 1, battery health, storage, or Wi-Fi, and then the same for widget 2, and then you could change the height and make the background transparent. So very simple tweak, but it can be pretty useful if you want to keep an eye on your battery percentage and also your storage space. The next tweak is called Maple 2, and this is going to give you a really awesome charging animation when you plug your device in to charge. So I'm going to go ahead and plug my device in here and take a look at the animation that we get on the screen here. That is epic. And then it will show at the bottom there the percentage of battery you have and a really nice little alert right there. But the animation, of course, is going to be everybody's favorite part. I just think it's really cool and it definitely does not look like anything else your friends are going to have when they plug their device into charge. And you do also have some settings you could change in here. You can see you can have the banner size be small or normal. You can group the banners, you can hide the percentage, and you have the animations right here that you can change as well. And of course, this will show your Apple Watch battery percentage as well, and you will get the animation for that as well, which is pretty cool. The next tweak is called Kai, and this is very similar to Maple 2, which I just showed you. This is just going to show your battery levels on the lock screen right here. This will work for your Apple Watch, your AirPods, your iPhone, and things like that as well. This is just an alternative to the previous tweak, and you can see here we do also have some settings we could change here for Kai. If show all devices, always show Bluetooth devices, you can hide the glyphs, and of course you can change it to vertical or horizontal. You have the banner style, and you could change all these different things in there. And you can see here how it looks with the AirPods. It'll show the AirPods Pro and then the AirPod case right there on the lock screen, which is pretty cool. Next up is a tweak called NotiBlock, and this is going to block certain notifications based on the set conditions that you set inside of settings. So we are in the settings right here for NotiBlock, and if we go to the notification filter list and go to add, this is where you see everything you can do with this tweak. So you can name the filter up top, and then you have block if the title, the subtitle, the message, or any field starts with or ends with or contains. You can see you can change all of these strings right here, so that maybe if you have like a text message, you don't want to see a text message that, I don't know, mentions a certain person. So you can have it say the message itself contains the text, I don't know, Amanda. Maybe you don't want to hear about Amanda, I don't know. But you could see right there, you could do that. And then you can also filter the app as well. So you could choose from your apps right here. And then you have the whitelist mode, show notification center, block on schedule, and then you can just create it and it will block that notification based on the conditions that you set. So you could really customize this a lot if you wanted to, and it's really nice that you have it set for specific applications. And again, you can do it on specific times as well. So there's a lot you can do with this app, and it can be really great to control the notifications you receive and the notifications you see. The next tweak is called Evil Scheme, and this is going to be a very popular one that I think a lot of you guys are going to like. This is a tweak that will allow you to change the default application for your maps, for your Reddit client, for your package installer like Cydia, all kind of things. So you can see right here, all you have to do is go to default apps right here and add new. Then it will bring up a preset list right here. So mail clients, you can change the mail client to be your default for Spark, Gmail, Newton, and things like that. You can have Waze be your default maps, which is what I did right here. And you can see right here, you can do for package managers, web browsers as well. So if you don't use Safari, you can set a default web browser right here. Now, what I have set right here, what I really like is Waze. So I custom did this second part right here for Google Maps, but we do also have for Apple Maps as well. So basically anytime I'm on Google and I pull up an address, it will open immediately in Waze instead of inside of Google Maps. So let me just show you an example of how that works. So you can see right here, I pulled up the directions to Hollywood, Florida, and this is in Google Maps. But if I go and click on start, it will open up in Waze, as you can see right there, instead of opening up in Google Maps. So really cool and very convenient, especially if you use Waze, or once again, if you have a different web browser preference aside from Safari. And there's also the option under experimental settings if you wanted to change the Spotlight search engine. So you can have that set to something like DuckDuckGo, or if you prefer something aside from Google. And speaking of default applications, the next tweak is called Default Player. And this is going to change the default music players inside of iOS. So if we go to player right here inside the settings, you can see here you could change your default music player to something like Spotify, which I have right here. So basically in the control center, if you just tap on this right here, it will open up in Spotify instead of inside of Apple Music. So let me just close out of the Apple Music application and then go ahead and tap on the control center here for music. And you can see right there, it will open up inside of Spotify compared to Apple Music. Now the developer is continuously working on this, so you should see some improvements over time as well, and maybe some more, music players added to this list. The next tweak is called Ersatz, and this allows you to replace any word or phrase with a different word or phrase. So if you go into the settings right here, you can go ahead and tap on the plus right here, and then you can enter a phrase. So if you don't want to see something about, I don't know, Yahoo, it will replace that with Google. Maybe you're just very biased and you only like Google and not Yahoo for whatever reason. So you can do that. And then all throughout iOS, you will see Google instead of Yahoo. So I'm sure you guys have a lot more creative ideas than me for this one, but this isn't really something I would use, but I know a lot of people are into things like this where you can replace the phrases and the words and have it say something else. So that is a great tweak for that. The next tweak is called RoadRunner, and this is one that a lot of people will definitely love. And this is going to allow you to keep music playing through a respring. So when you respring your device, your music will not pause or stop playing. It will continue playing throughout the entire respring process. Now you can see that there is a 10-day free trial, so you do have to pay after that. But you can see you could do things right here. So exclude other apps as well. And you can also exclude certain apps. So you can also keep apps running in the background as well, not just music. But you can see right here, the main reason I think a lot of people are going to use it is to prevent their music from pausing through a respring. The next tweak is one of my all-time favorite tweaks, and that is going to be Springtomize 5. And that is how I got pretty much everything as it is on my device right now. The icons, how I have 5 icons in the dock, 5 icons in a row here on the springboard, how I've hidden certain things like my self signal up in the status bar, pretty much everything, how I have no labels, everything is because of Springtomize 5. So if you go into the settings here, I could spend all day going through the settings in Springtomize 5, but you can see it's very easily laid out so you know what you're getting into, and you can also save profiles as well. But anyways, going into animations right here to start with, you could change the animations overall throughout your iOS device. And you have, use old screenshot style. So these are some new options here in Springtomize 5 compared to Springtomize, 3 or 4. You can change the lock animation. If you go to the app switcher, you can change all kind of things inside the app switcher. The control center, you can completely disable the control center if you want to. You can change a lot of different things, hide a lot of different sections. This is a great tweak for basically hiding certain things and making your device just look cleaner overall. And then down here, we also have for the dock, so you can hide the background right there. And the main area where people are going to go is into the icons right here, because this is where you can change the icons, 5 icons in the dock right there. And then also for the page settings, this is where you can change the columns. You can see I changed my inset right here. So we have some padding at the top. That's how my icons are pushed down like that. You can push it down a lot further if you want to, but all those settings are right in here. You also have color flow and the perspective and things like that you could change right there. And there are just a billion settings in here that, once again, I could spend 20-30 minutes going through everything on here. So this is another little small feature that I like: disable screenshot sound. So even if your sound is turned on, sometimes you're in public and you take a screenshot and people think you took a picture of them, you can end that with this setting right here, enabling that setting right there. So really, really great tweak. Springtomize 5, definitely worth the money. I'd highly recommend it if you want to fully customize your device. Now, if you don't have the money to buy Springtomize 5, I do have a free alternative that's not quite as powerful, but it allows you to remove a lot of elements throughout iOS, and that is called NoClutter. So you can see right here, very easily laid out. It shows everything that you can hide in the status bar, the springboard, the home screen, the lock screen, all kinds of things right here that you can easily go ahead and hide straight from this tweak. And again, it is free. It is a nice little alternative to Springtomize 5. The next tweak is called FluidTabs, and this allows you to use swipe over gestures to navigate throughout the tabs in an application. So for example, I'm in the App Store right here. If I wanted to quickly go between games and applications, I could just do a quick little gesture like this to go from those tabs. I could do it in the middle of the screen as well. You just have to make sure you're not on something you can, slide over like this, because it won't register that. It's very, very aware of the surroundings, which is really nice. You just have to go to an empty spot and you can go throughout the tabs like so. I find it easiest to go to either the top or just right in the middle like so. It's very useful. I also use it a lot inside of the music application to quickly go back and forth between different tabs at the bottom. You can also do it in Safari. You can do it in any application where you have tabs at the bottom. Now, if you go back into the settings, you guys may have wondered how I got this little tweak section down here in the system apps and how it looks so clean in my settings down here. And that's because of PreferenceOrganizer 2. This is a very old tweak that I just love, and it's updated for iOS 13. And it just makes everything a lot easier to digest. And it doesn't get you overwhelmed when you go into your settings and you see all these different icons. You're scrolling forever, especially once you start installing a lot of tweaks. It's very easily organized, as the tweak says, inside of settings. So you have all your tweaks right here, you have all your system apps right here, and there's no getting confused and no more overwhelm in your settings. Next up is a tweak called Aries, and this is Siri as it should be. So if we go ahead and activate Siri right there, you can see it does not take up the entire screen and it just looks very clean down there. And there's also settings to change for this. If we go into our settings and then Aries right here, you can see you can change it to be a card. You can also make it a banner if you want to. So let me just go ahead and do that real quick to show you guys what it looks like as a banner. So if we go ahead and activate Siri, you can see right there, it's just a small banner down at the bottom. You can also push it to the top if you want to from the settings. So you can see right there, you could change it from top or bottom. You also have swipe up to expand, swipe down to dismiss, and also tap to edit. So just a really great way of reimagining Siri on iOS. And I really hope that Apple takes note of this and includes something very similar to this in iOS 14. Anyways, moving on to the next tweak. The next one is called colorful lines. So if you look closely, you can see that the cursor is this blue color. And if you go ahead and swipe down, take a look at the scroll bar over on the right-hand side. That is also that little blue color there. And that's all this tweak does. It customizes those. You can also customize the selection color right there. So if you wanted to really theme your device by colors, this is a great tweak to go ahead and do that. Next up is a very useful tweak called MsgSwap. And this is going to give you a more accessible way to send photos in iMessage. So instead of having the application there and having to click that, and then on Photos is just right there next to Messages. So when you tap on that, it will just open up Photos. You can see you can select the photo very, very quickly compared to stock iOS. The next tweak is called BetterWidgets. And if we go over to the widget panel here, take a look at how much better my widgets look now. So let me just go ahead and pull out my AirPods so you can see a little bit more content in here, but take a look at how much better the widgets panel looks. So I think it's a lot cleaner and everything is fully expanded, so you don't have to tap on show more or anything like that. You can go down here and you can see everything like so. Very, very cool. I think it looks a lot better than stock. And there's also a lot that you could change as well. It doesn't have to be always expanded like that if you don't want to. So if we go into these settings here, you can see you could change pretty much everything in here about the widgets panel, and you don't have to have them always expanded if you don't want to. I just think it looks better personally, at least for my setup over here in the widgets panel, but pretty cool way to customize the widgets panel. Next up is a very simple tweak called FivePercentAlert. And all this does is simply send you an alert once you get to a certain battery percentage that you specify inside of settings right here. So for example, when I get to 30% battery, I will get an alert saying that I'm at 30% battery. And of course you can change that. You can also show it as a notification instead of an alert if you want to as well. Next up is another very simple tweak called MojiStatus. And this is going to allow you to customize your status bar with a custom emoji up in the top left corner next to the time. So as you can see there, I have a little emoji right next to the time, and you can change this inside of settings if you go down, and you can see right there, it's a very simple setup. You can either have custom text plus stock, custom text plus time, or just the custom text, which is going to be an emoji or whatever letters or whatever else you type right there. I just think it looks best with just one emoji because it's not, too much going on up there. Next up is a self-explanatory tweak called NoScrollbarGrabDelay. And this is just for the scroll bar right here. We can grab it and go down very quickly on a page. Now with this tweak, you don't have to sit there and hold it for a second. You can just do it right away. So right once you tap it, you can go ahead and drag up and down a page as quick as you want. You don't have to hold it for a split second and then drag it. Next up is a tweak called StickAround. And this allows you to pin settings panels to the top of settings. So right there where the power options is, and this doesn't really play too well with that. It does kind of bug out sometimes. So if you go to, maybe you want to have like battery at the top, we can go ahead and swipe over like that on any of these settings panes right here, and then just go ahead and tap on pin and then go to the top, and you will see battery shows up right there. So pretty cool. And if you want to unpin it, just swipe over again and then unpin, and it will be gone and back to its normal spot. Next up is a simple tweak called DNDMyRecording. So basically what this does is once you start a screen recording, it automatically, as you can see, puts your device into do not disturb mode, so you don't get any notifications coming on your screen that you may not want people to see, when you're making a screen recording. So very, very useful tweak. I can't tell you how many times I've tried screen recording and then I get a text and I gotta have to edit that part out. So this will fix that. This will solve that issue. And again, you can see right there, once you stop the recording, it goes ahead and disables do not disturb. Next is a tweak called QuitAll. And if we go into the app switcher right here, you'll see up at the very top now, we have a new option there called clear. And what this will do, of course, is clear all the applications. So we tap on that, and as you can see, all applications are now completely closed. So obviously it's not good to close all of your applications all the time, but if for whatever reason you wanted to, you can now do so with the tweak called QuitAll. Another tweak I really like on the home screen is down here where the dots usually show. And you can see they're not showing until I swipe over to the next page, and then they show and then they disappear again. And that's thanks to a tweak called ShyPageDots. So normally I hide my page dots, but I think it's really cool that they show up when you switch pages, and kind of just gives you an idea of how many pages you have, and then it goes away very quickly. So again, ShyPageDots, really great tweak to simplify the look of your home screen. And speaking of keeping it simple, if we go to the lock screen right here, you will see I don't have a clock until I tap, and that's thanks to Houdini. So all Houdini does is hide your lock screen clock until you tap or hold on the screen based on the settings that you have enabled. So if we go to my settings right here, for this tweak, you can see you could change the amount of taps it takes, or if you want to hold, you could do whatever action you want right there, and then it will show the clock right there. And if you guys are wondering what clock this is, by the way, this lock screen clock, that is a tweak called Jellyfish. Next up is a tweak called MathTeacher, and this gives you a much better calculator in iOS. So it uses the stock iOS calculator and just completely customizes it. So if we go ahead and type in just some random numbers right here, you can see we get a little history up at the top. So you can see right there, it says 8 times 5 times 6. And if you didn't mean to type in 6, you could just tap the little C right here and then type in whatever you meant to type in and then hit equals. You can copy right here. If you go ahead and tap and hold on this, you can paste. There's just a lot of things that makes this calculator a lot better than stock iOS, and really how it should be in the first place. Next up is a tweak called AppFirewall, and this is pretty much self-explanatory. You're gonna have a firewall for your iOS-based device. So this is going to be very similar to Little Snitch on macOS if you use macOS and have used that application. This is a very, very advanced tweak, and I would not recommend it unless you are very familiar with firewalls and you want to be able to see, incoming traffic and block, outgoing or incoming traffic on certain applications. So I'm not going to really go too much in depth with this. It is a free tweak, so you could just go ahead and play around with it if you want to, but just know that it is great for a firewall on your iOS-based device, and just keep in mind that it is still in beta. And finally is a tweak called typing notification. So normally I would put this near the top of the tweak list, but the only reason I didn't is because it does not work for everybody right now. So what this tweak does is it will give you a notification when somebody is typing. So this is very similar to tweaks we've seen in the past, and now we have this new tweak here from the developer of I Caught You, which is a great tweak to prevent, or not prevent, but basically, prove to the police who stole your phone and track it down and things like that. But with this tweak, you'll be able to see, a notification when somebody starts typing. And of course, it does have to be an iMessage, so you get that typing indicator. But once again, it's not working for everybody. I personally cannot get it to work, but some people can. I still wanted to include it because I think it is a very, very great tweak, and it may get updates in the future after this video has been released, and it may be working for everybody then. But if you ever wanted to get a notification when somebody was typing in a message and not sending, this is a great tweak to have, and it is free. But there you have it, guys. Those are 31 awesome new jailbreak tweaks for your iOS 13 through 13.5 jailbroken device. Now, if you guys installed any of the tweaks from this video, I would appreciate if you gave this video a thumbs up. And of course, let me know down in the comment section below your favorite tweak at the moment. And also if you want another episode of the top tweaks videos just like this one. But anyways, guys, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you soon.